Good day and welcome to ARC 313. This is video number 17. We're in the penultimate week of video lessons. We're going to be discussing the Tom Di Santo Method again today. You already know how to do foliage and people and sky and that sort of thing, as we saw from our previous sketches of the day. And you can come over here now. Today we're going to discuss materiality. So I've already started, as I would always start, with the sky foliage. Then I hit the glazing next with these dark Payne's gray. And then the next thing we're going to do, per the sketch of the day that you have for the Bikini Residence by Mome Architects, is to do some Corten steel and some board form concrete and some translucent glass in here. And so we'll do those in a couple of steps, and then when it's all dry, then we add the last shades and shadows. As you know from here, the last thing we do is come in with the shades and shadows. So to start with here, let's look at the Corten steel, which is basically a rusted steel. And we're just going to mix this on the page here. It's going to be a little bit of burnt umber, like you see here, mixed with a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow and red together. And, like I said, just letting it mix right on the page. And then we'll also add a little bit of gray, Payne's gray, to kind of suggest that not everything is rusted completely, and that maybe some of it is still got a little bit of that blackness from the mild steel when you first put it up. So, maybe we'll just put a little bit of that in here down at the bottom. And that's what enables you to get kind of a cool little patina stains from the steel as well. So if you just keep mixing the various colors together and then let them run together and make those cool little rusty stains that would happen over time with Corten steel. So that's this part here. So you notice I'm still painting the materiality in planes so that they don't get too mixed up. But this whole top half is all rusted steel. So I'm going to keep going with that. And then when I'm done with that, I will let that dry and work on the board formed concrete below. This is Corten steel underneath here too in the soffit. But you'll see what I do is I paint it all together, and then at the same value, and then at the end I'll go and darken part of it. So it'll have the same color underneath, but that layer of gray over it will give it the shade or the shadow, as the case may be. So there's those two planes. And then it's also going to be in this crevice here too, but because those are drying, I'm going to leave that for later. I might add a little bit of this gray like we talked about before down here. Just to let that kind of rush up into the rest of it. So for the board form concrete, going to get out some special grays here from Daniel Smith. These are made in Seattle. And they know gray up there for sure. For this, we're going to do the board form concrete. You could also do CMU this way in horizontal lifts first with just the first layer of color. And then I come down and add the rest of the gray afterwards. And the reason for that is to kind of highlight the sun hitting the parts of the board form concrete that are protruding up. So I'm just going to paint it in a horizontal line, leaving a white stripe for that part of the board form concrete that's slipping through the forms and coming up as a highlight. So I'll leave some white space between these. Don't worry, in the end it won't be white, but it's looking a little bit white now because I'm not painting it. And then when we do the second layer, it'll kind of hide those white lines. Just back and forth. Very meditative, as you know. And one last one here, and then we'll let this dry. And voila. So we're gonna, this took over a little bit too much, so I'm gonna pull up the excess here. See how that works? We still get the rusty color, but a little bit of that black peering through. So I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll come back to it and finish the rest of the Corten steel up here and do another layer of the board formed concrete.